My beloved one, on this November 21st morning, I invite you to pause before the demands of the world reach for you, before the noise rises like dust in the wind, and simply breathe. Yes, take in a deep, deliberate breath, as though you were tasting the very first sweetness of creation, letting it fill you, stretch you, awaken you. Your breath, child, is never a small or trivial thing. It is proof that God has decided that you are needed today, that your presence matters, and that the world will be a better place with you walking through it. Because you are needed, it is vital that you begin this day not hurriedly, not tangled in the fragments of yesterday's worries or regrets, but grounded in His presence. Each sunrise is heaven's gentle whisper, telling you to start again, to begin anew, to let the mercy of today wash over what was lacking or lost yesterday. Every inhale is His promise that you are not alone, that you are not walking through life without divine companionship, and that the unseen presence of God accompanies you in ways both subtle and powerful. So pause and reset your mind. Reset the thoughts that tell you you are behind, the voice that says you are unworthy, the fears that have quietly climbed onto your shoulders as if they belong there. Lay them down at the feet of the one who calls Himself your refuge, your strength, your hiding place, your morning song, and breathe again, this time allowing peace to fill your lungs and expand throughout your being. Not the fragile peace the world gives, the kind that can shatter with the slightest disturbance, but the steady, ancient, enduring peace that God provides, a peace strong enough to carry your entire soul. Let it move into every corner of your heart, smoothing the creases and quieting the tremors of your spirit, reminding you that God walks beside you, not hurriedly, but with a calm, sovereign stride, fully aware of the ending and unafraid. When you choose to start your day in God's presence, your steps find certainty, your voice softens, your decisions gain clarity, and your heart becomes braver than you knew possible. Before your feet even touch the floor, speak softly to yourself, saying, "Today I breathe, today I reset, today I walk in God's peace." And as you do, let your spirit open to the gentle invitation of this morning. Let it soak in the calm before the day's responsibilities stretch their long fingers toward you. For breath is not simply a mechanical act of survival. It is a sacred language, a rhythm that connects the invisible with the visible, a quiet bridge between your soul and the presence of God. Each inhale draws in life itself, a gift from the Creator, and each exhale releases worry, fear, and all lingering shadows that attempt to rest upon your chest. Breath is prayer without words. Breath is praise without sound. Breath is the body and soul in quiet conversation, reminding you that you are held, that you are safe, that you are guided. So today, this fresh November 21st morning, let every deliberate inhale and exhale be your first act of worship, a declaration that you are present, alive, and ready to be renewed. Breathe in the new strength God has prepared for you. Breathe out the weight of yesterday's disappointments, the fragments of confusion, the heavy residue of doubts. Allow your breathing to remind you that God is closer than the closest thought, nearer than the fears that try to claim your mind, and that the life within you is intentional, sacred, and full of purpose. Child, understand that your breath is not ordinary. It was formed, given, and blessed by the same hands that stretched mountains across the earth and spread oceans wide. God breathed into humanity once, and that divine breath has been echoing within you since the moment you came into this world. Breath is inheritance, a sign that you belong to something eternal, something holy. Each morning when you breathe with intention, you reclaim awareness of your connection to God, your participation in creation, and the truth that your day is not a random succession of chaos, but a carefully guided journey under divine supervision. There are mornings when breathing feels heavy, when life presses against your chest, when the weight of fear creeps quietly into your spirit, and the tasks ahead seem daunting. On those mornings especially, your breath becomes your anchor, a rope drawing you back from the edge of anxiety, a reminder that you are not made of worry, but made of God's own life-giving breath. As you inhale slowly and deliberately, remember that you are drawing in peace, and as you exhale, let go of tension, sorrow, and anything that seeks to burden you unnecessarily. This is not laziness or avoidance, it is preparation. It is the deliberate act of resetting your inner world, gathering courage, and aligning yourself with the calm and steady pace of God's Spirit before stepping into the demands and uncertainties of the day. Children of God are called not to move, speak, or react before they breathe, for breath softens fear, slows anger, elevates wisdom, and roots the soul in divine presence. Through this awareness, you become steady where others are shaken, calm where others are frantic, and grounded where others grasp desperately for control. Each inhale carries God's whisper, "I am here." Each exhale carries your spirit's quiet response, "I trust you." This sacred dialogue becomes the foundation of peace, the rhythm of your day, and the quiet armor that shields your mind, your heart, and your spirit. As you continue to breathe with awareness, allow this rhythm to spread through your entire being. Feel the air move into your lungs, filling every part of you with life and calm. Feel it reach the corners of your mind where fear lingers, the chambers of your heart where worry dwells, and the places in your spirit that have felt burdened or abandoned. Let each breath draw God's presence more closely into you, softening the hardness that life has pressed into your soul, restoring your courage and renewing your capacity to trust. Let the steady rhythm of breathing remind you that no matter what the day brings, you are not walking alone. You are guided, protected, and cherished by the same hand that set the stars in the sky and calls every morning to life. This is the secret power of a deliberate, mindful breath. It reconnects you with God's presence, stabilizes your heart, and resets your spirit. The breath you take is far more than a physical need. It is a spiritual lifeline, a testimony that you belong, that you are seen, and that you are loved. Even in moments of doubt or struggle, even when life feels heavy or chaotic, each deliberate inhale and exhale draws you back into alignment, into the sacred rhythm of God's plan, and into the calm assurance that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Purpose, with courage, with faith. Let your breathing slow enough to steady the trembling inside you, deep enough to touch the parts of yourself that have been ignored, strong enough to push back every shadow that rises with the morning light. And when you finally rise from your bed, not rushed but renewed, you will feel it, the quiet empowerment that comes from beginning your day with a simple, sacred act, a deep inhalation of God's gift of life. There is a moment in every morning, tender and fleeting, carved between the fading dreams of the night and the demands of the day, when your soul whispers for a reset. Not a small adjustment, not a tiny shift, but a holy realignment of mind and spirit, a clearing of those deep inner spaces where thoughts root themselves and emotions gather like clouds, preparing for rain. On this day, child, you are invited into that sacred reset, not because you have failed or faltered, but because God in His mercy knows you cannot carry today with the weight of yesterday still clinging to your back. You do not have to walk into this day with yesterday's dust still on your feet. There is a generous God who stands at the doorway of every new morning, holding out fresh water, fresh mercy, fresh clarity, fresh grace. All that is asked of you is to open your heart wide enough to receive it. Reset, child, reset. Your mind has a tendency to store everything, the unspoken worries, the ignored disappointments, the creeping fears that slip in like uninvited visitors. It remembers too much, clings too tightly, replays conversations, revisits mistakes, and drags moments that should have stayed in yesterday's shadows into today. God did not breathe life into you this morning for you to rise weary and burdened. He gave you a new dawn so that you could reset your mind and begin again, and if you listen closely, you will feel the truth. The reset starts within you, long before your feet touch the floor. Resetting your mind means loosening your hold on all that attempts to chain you to the past. It is permission to begin fresh, clean, unburdened, and to recognize that your mind is a field, and what you plant there will rise to meet you in the hours ahead. Pause for a moment, look inward, ask yourself, what thoughts am I still carrying that no longer serve me? Which voices need to be silenced? Which burdens have I mistaken for responsibility? Which memories have I allowed to rule my emotions? And when you find the answers, and you will, for God will, bring them gently to the surface, release them. Release them without apology, without guilt, without fear. Too many people try to step into their day without resetting their minds. They carry stress like a second skin, drag discouragement behind them like a shadow too long, hold on to anger as though it warms them. But child, hear me. No heart can fully shine while wrapped in yesterday's weight. When you reset your mind, you choose freedom, clarity, peace, and God over every internal storm. This reset is not a hurried motion or a careless shrug. It is sacred, like sweeping the floor of your spirit, a gentle clearing, an untying of knots formed while you were distracted. It is your declaration to God, "Make me new from the inside out." Resetting your spirit is different, though closely connected. The spirit carries emotions long after the mind has let go of the details. The spirit remembers the tone of words spoken in irritation, the heaviness of disappointment, the ache of loneliness, the sting of rejection, and the subtle shift in the room when hope ebbed. So the spirit must be reset too. It must be given room to breathe, reassured, comforted, anchored back into peace. There is a quiet, profound stillness in resetting the spirit. It feels like placing your hand over your heart and whispering, "You are allowed to heal. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to begin again." It feels like standing barefoot on sacred ground, not because the earth beneath you is special, but because you are finally standing in your truth. Your spirit cannot thrive in chaos. It needs calm, quiet, and moments where you turn away from what drains you and toward the one who sustains you. Resetting your spirit means choosing softness where the world demands hardness, forgiveness where bitterness once grew, and openness even when your heart trembled the last time it tried. This reset is not denial, it is reclamation, not forgetting but releasing, not pretending but trusting. You reset because God is offering you a new flow of strength today, strength you cannot grasp if your hands are still full of yesterday's cycles of thoughts and emotions. Lift your face to the morning light. Let the warmth of a new day touch your skin. Let your spirit stretch like a flower unfolding after a long night. Tell your thoughts to settle, your worries to rest, your past to remain behind you. You are not required to carry it forward. God speaks in the quiet, saying, "I am making all things new." Not some things, not only what seems worthy, but all things, including you. This is why your reset is holy, why it matters, why it strengthens you in ways unseen. When you reset your mind and spirit, you step into the day with clarity instead of confusion, peace instead of panic, courage instead of dread, and hope instead of heaviness. You rise not as the wounded version of yesterday, but as the renewed creation God formed for today. Do not let anyone rush you. Do not allow the pressure of the world to push you before you are centered. You are not a machine to be turned on, but a soul to be aligned. Reset until you feel yourself return to yourself. Reset until your heartbeat quiets, your breathing deepens, your emotions loosen their grip, until God's peace settles over you like a warm blanket across your shoulders. And when you feel that peace, soft, steady, undeniable, then and only then step into the day. Move slowly, move intentionally, move confidently, knowing your mind is clear, your spirit is calm, your heart is open, and God walks beside you into every moment ahead. There is something sacred in the way morning light arrives quietly, gently, without asking permission. It slips through curtains like a whispered promise, brushes edges of furniture with soft gold, and rests on your skin as though you were chosen. And you were chosen. Every morning, with its unfolding light and tender hush, carries a message from heaven itself. Mercy has come to meet you again. How generous God is with his mornings. No matter what happened yesterday, the mistakes, the missteps, the words you wish you could gather back, he lets the sun rise for you, lets the birds sing for you, lets the world unfold again as though you had never stumbled. That is mercy. That is grace stitched into every dawn. When you open your eyes, you are not merely waking from sleep. You are waking into mercy, fresh, untouched mercy. Mercy that does not remember your mistakes, hold grudges, or treat you according to your failures. It treats you according to God's compassion, patience, and infinite love. Each sunrise is God's gentle way of saying, "My beloved, begin again." Think of that. The creator of the universe, who set the stars and sculpted mountains with his breath, pauses each morning to give you a clean slate. He does not recycle mercy, reuse yesterday's forgiveness, or ration love. He gives new mercy just for you, for this day, this moment, this version of you opening their eyes to the light. God gives it freely, like water pouring over dry land, not because you earned it, but because he is good. Not because you are perfect, but because he sees beyond your imperfections and loves the soul beneath them. His mercy is firm, it is steady, it holds you. Child, understand this: the moment light touches the earth, God whispers to your weary spirit, "Yesterday is gone, let today be different." He invites you to put down the weight you carried through the night, release guilt tucked in your heart, and set aside the regrets you have been clutching like old clothes that no longer fit. Mercy is the doorway into newness. Too often we rise and let worry greet us first, let undone tasks claim our attention, and let yesterday's disappointments climb onto our shoulders. But mercy says, "Look up, child, there is more for you today." Mercy is the quiet reset button pressed by God, the soft eraser wiping clean what should no longer control you. It is the divine reminder that you are not trapped in your past, but invited into a future shaped by love, and how powerful it is to accept that invitation. When you recognize that each sunrise carries new mercy, you begin your day not with dread but with gratitude. Your heart opens wider, your steps grow lighter, your thoughts become kinder to yourself and others. Mercy is not only something God gives, it is something you are invited to walk in. Mercy allows forgiveness of what you did not know, release of anger that lingered too long, the return of joy where sorrow once sat. Mercy is God's permission to be human, soft, flawed, learning, evolving. It is love made visible in the unfolding of each new morning. The beauty of mercy is that it does not demand perfection, does not require knowing everything, does not ask for pretending. It simply asks you to receive. Receive the mercy that reminds you you are more than your hardest moment. Receive the mercy that allows you to try again. Receive the mercy that assures you God is not tired of you. God is not disappointed. God is still shaping you. And what a wonder it is. Despite your stumbles, doubts, fears, God's mercy remains new. New enough to break shame, lift discouragement, quiet the voices of unworthiness, and warm the cold places inside you. Child, step gently into this morning knowing you are blessed with the gift of beginning again. Let the sunlight remind you that God has turned the page. Let the cool dawn tell you that heaven has reset the atmosphere around you. Let every breath declare that mercy meets you not in perfection, but in your need. Mercy means you do not have to punish yourself for what cannot be changed, dread the future because of the past, or fear falling, for God will catch you every time. And when the world whispers old fears, regrets, and shame, remember the morning, child. Remember the light, the promise, the mercy that came with sunrise. Mercy is not a moment, it is God moving toward you, leaning close, reaching out, speaking softly. I will never let your past define your future. Step into this day renewed, not burdened. Lift your chin, straighten your shoulders, walk as one washed in mercy's waters, carrying the calm of a forgiven soul, the steadiness of a reset mind, the courage of a heart loved by God. Remember, every sunrise is God voting for you, every morning heaven affirming your purpose, every new mercy proof that God is not done writing beauty into your story. Strength is also knowing when to set something down. Strength is whispering softly to yourself, I do not have to hold this anymore. Strength is placing the weight at God's feet and trusting that He is strong enough to carry both you and what burdens you. Fear is a quiet thief. It steals your peace long before you even notice it is gone. It steals your courage before you attempt the next step. Fear sneaks in with small words, small doubts, small whispers that grow louder as they echo in your mind. It says, you can't, you won't, you are not enough. But fear is not meant to be your companion. It only has the power you give it. And today you must tell it, your time with me is over. Doubt is also a clever deceiver. It wraps itself around your decisions, standing at the doorway of your purpose and questioning your ability to step through. It reminds you of failures long buried and calls you to prove yourself again and again. But God did not place dreams inside you only to let doubt tear them out. He did not give you gifts for them to hide in the shadows. Doubt is not a guide, it is a guard trying to prevent you from moving forward, and this morning you must walk past it, head held high. Then there are the emotional weights, the heavy feelings sitting in the corners of your soul like old furniture collecting dust. Hurt that never found words, anger that never found release, loneliness disguised as strength, disappointment swallowed whole because you refuse to burden anyone else. These burdens build walls around the heart, walls so tall and thick that even light struggles to enter. But child, you deserve light, you deserve warmth, you deserve relief. So on this quiet morning, breathe deeply and imagine the light slipping through the cracks. Imagine your burdens softening. Imagine them rising away from your chest, slipping from your hands like sand returning to the earth. You do not have to carry pain simply because it has been with you for a long time. Old company does not equal current need. God never asks you to be the mule for your own suffering. He asks you to trust Him, to lean into Him, to surrender. And surrender is not defeat, it is freedom. If only you knew how much courage it takes to let go, how much strength, how much faith. Letting go is not giving up, it is giving God room to move. It is saying, I have reached the limits of my strength. Now I need your grace. Take all the fears that rattled you last night, all the doubts that shook your confidence, all the heaviness you hid even from yourself, and place them gently, deliberately, at the feet of the one who carries what you cannot. Speak softly to him. Lord, I release this. I cannot hold it any more. I give it to you, and do not pick it up again. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when life grows loud. Leave it there, under his care, in his strength, for when you release, God replaces. He will take fear and give you peace. He will take doubt and give you courage. He will take heaviness and fill your heart with joy. He will take anxiety and bring calm. He will take trembling and restore steadiness. The heart was never meant to carry everything. It was meant to be carried, and God is the one who carries it. Release is not a single moment. It is a practice. You release in the morning, again in the afternoon, and again at night if needed. Release every time fear whispers its old lines. Release every time doubt tiptoes back into your thoughts. This is the sacred practice of letting go. And as you release, something beautiful happens inside you. The tightness in your chest softens. The heaviness behind your ribs lifts. The fog around your thoughts clears. Your spirit, once pressed down, begins to rise. Slowly, quietly, but surely, you breathe more freely. You begin to think more clearly. You begin to feel more deeply. You do not become empty, you become open. And openness is where God pours his peace. Release today, child. Release boldly, release fully. Stand tall in the lightness that follows. For when you let go of what weighs you down, you make space for what is meant to lift you. There is a tenderness that God places upon the morning, a softness resting on the earth before the world wakes. If you stand still, breathe deeply, and open your spirit wide, you will feel it settling on your shoulders like a warm shawl woven by heaven itself. It is peace, God's peace, a peace that does not shout but hums softly to the soul, a peace that invites rather than demands, a peace that whispers, "Come, child, sit with me, rest with me, begin again with me." So often we rush into the day carrying yesterday's burdens. Old conversations, old anxieties, old wounds cling to us as if our spirits were built to store sorrow. But the truth is simpler and far more freeing. God never designed us to carry what He is willing to hold for us. Each morning before the sun stretches across the sky, He offers a sacred exchange. He invites you to lay down the weight etched into your heart and promises, in His gentle kindness, to replace it with peace, quiet, steady, unshakable peace. But peace must be welcomed, it must be invited, it must be received with open hands and a willing heart. So breathe, child of God. Let the breath move slowly in and out. Let your breath become a prayer. Let your stillness become a sanctuary. With each inhale say, "Lord, fill me." With each exhale, whisper, "Lord, free me." Breath is more than oxygen. It is spirit, permission, and the doorway through which God's peace enters the body and settles in the soul. Sit quietly with God in the early hours. Let your heartbeat fall in rhythm with His eternal love. Let your mind loosen its grip on fear. Let your shoulders drop from yesterday's battles. Let your spirit remember what the world tries to make you forget, that you belong to God, that you are carried, that you are never walking alone. Peace is not the absence of storms. Peace is God with you in the storms. Peace is not silence outside, it is stillness within. Peace is not everything going perfectly, it is trusting that God is already moving things into place. And oh, how He meets His children at dawn, how He enters the quiet of your room, how He wraps His glory around your worries, how He speaks softly to the trembling places inside you. Be still, he says. I am here. And those 3 words from the one who stretched the heavens with his fingers can calm any storm, silence any panic, and soothe any restless spirit. But you must make room for him. You must let the peace of God replace the thoughts that tormented you through the night. You must choose to believe that no matter what the day brings, you will not face it alone. For God walks with the willing, speaks to the open, comforts the surrendered, and strengthens the trusting. So when you rise on this November morning, rise with a softened heart, a rested mind, and the confidence that you are not stepping into the day empty-handed, but clothed with God's peace. Peace comes when you stop wrestling and start resting. Peace comes when you trust, not with tight hands gripping control, but with open palms releasing it. Peace comes when you whisper, Lord, I give you the pieces of me I cannot put back together. Peace comes when your soul remembers that you are held. Let peace fill you like warm water filling a basin. Let it flow over your fears, wash away the dust of disappointment, soften the hardened edges of your spirit, and rise until it covers every anxious corner, every lonely ache, every silent tear. There is no shame in needing peace. There is no shame in admitting life bruises you more than you expected. There is no shame in saying, Lord, I am tired. The weary are closest to his heart, the broken are cradled in his hands, and the longing are welcomed at his table. When you inhale his peace, something miraculous begins. Your spirit becomes rooted, your mind steadies, your heart unclenches. You begin to see the day not as an enemy to survive, but as a canvas on which God is already painting goodness. Peace gives clarity, peace gives courage, peace gives confidence to walk through doors you once feared. Peace steadies your tongue so you speak life instead of reacting in anger. Peace slows your steps so you move with intention instead of rushing blindly. Peace opens your eyes to blessings hidden in ordinary places. And above all, peace reminds you that you are loved deeply, fully, eternally. For the peace of God is simply love resting quietly upon your shoulders. Do not rush away from your quiet place. Linger a little longer with God. Let him pour into you until the overflow becomes your protection.